Welcome back to another Deuce video.
Alright, so in this video the goal is to have the engine running on the cart. So we just gotta get all the kind of peripherals, all the systems on, and then just make it run.
Yeah, so that kind of includes a full exhaust system with a DG muffler. They hooked this up again with an awesome Ninja muffler, so that's gonna sound awesome on this thing. We also have to do things like the whole coolant system, including the radiator and wiring and stuff like that. We have to mount a gas tank, and then we have to do all the wiring stuff and the coils, mounting a Go Power Sports battery, things like that.
Alright, so first thing to do is mount the gas tank. So we flex it completely out right now since this is going to be on the kind of fixed side of the Go-Kart. So we're thinking of doing it this way, but the fuel petcock's really far back and the part of the valve cover where the cam gears are, it kind of sticks out a lot. So we're thinking we're probably going to flip it around and then mount it kind of just over this harness bar. And then that'll give us a really straight shot from our gas tank to our carbs. And we shouldn't have any problems with it flexing or needing a bunch of extra fuel line.
Ooh, this is me dope.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Okay, so we finished up our brackets. They're pretty much tacked in, but we drilled the holes, and that kind of just slides in real nice like that. Seems like all our holes line up. It really kind of adds to the look. It's getting more complete. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna adapt our air box to fit and start getting it on.
Okay, so to get the air box to fit and not hit in the back, we cut off the battery tray, but it looks pretty good. We're probably gonna do a little support at the bottom so it's not flopping around. But so now we're gonna start on kind of the wiring. We have the coils and we need to mount them, which we're probably just gonna do to this back hoop right here.
I was actually thinking of making a bracket here, but we might as well just utilize these brackets that are already on this thing. So I'm gonna take it off, kind of chop it, and then we can weld it right up to that hoop. Okay, so we just finished mounting our coils in the rear, and now we have a Go Power Sports battery, of course, and the stock Deuce battery location was right here for the footwell, and that's gonna work perfect for us. So basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make our own angle iron out of this square tubing, and we'll just get to mounting it up. All right, so basically we made 2 pieces of angle iron out of a square tubing and then box off the sides. So I'll weld this up and then get it welded into Deuce.
Now that we're at our final point on our rear swing arm, we're gonna remove everything, weld it up, finalize it. Last thing we have to do is we fabbed up this little mount for our brake, and we're gonna mount this right by our rear brake.
Sweet. So now we're just gonna weld her up.
Alright, so we got everything prepared. We just need to do a couple little gussets on this and the brake mount, and then we're just welding everything up.
All right, so this piece looks really good, this carrier. We went all out in the Go Power Sports gussets. So that's welded up.
Oh jeez, I got caught.
I got a lot of welding ahead of me, but
There we go.
this rear section is going to look awesome. So we got the engine in and basically the whole rear cradle in, and it looks amazing now that it's all welded up. So now what we need to do is just reinstall everything and then start on the wiring.
Well, Jason's been grinding away on the wiring. It's going pretty well. It's time to move on to the exhaust. Again, we're partnering with DG. We got this Ninja 250R muffler. It's one of the first time we're using the right muffler for the right engine and not just kind of a general muffler. So that's going to be pretty cool. We're hoping this thing sounds sweet, but we got a little bit of modification to do before we can get this thing to fit.
So this is going to be one of the more difficult things we have with this cart, basically because we have so much like pipe and everything to fit in such a small package because it needs to flex around the upper frame. So basically what we're going to do is we want to retain the stock collector so we can kind of keep the same airflow design from factory. So what we're going to do is we're going to just try to cut all of this out and re-weld in our collector to make this pipe much shorter.
Yay!
For about the last hour or so, I've been making up this exhaust. This was kind of the bigger things we had issues with. Basically what I had to do is cut off the collector at both ends and basically just reshape basically how the collector went in. Instead of being vertical, we made it horizontal so we could clear some of our frame stuff. But now our DG muffler just kind of perfectly is going to slide on here with the springs, and then we'll be sure to add the little support bracket. But what we're going to do now is do a little flex test with the air box and the muffler on, just to make sure everything clears at full articulation. But we're really happy with how this is looking.
Mounting our radiator, we had some problems with the fan sticking out the back. So on the original bike, it's a puller fan coming from the front. So we kind of wanted to have it like sticking out the back right here. But the problem was we'd have our hoses that would have to have flex with the cart. They'd be facing backwards. So what we decided to do is we're going to flip the fan around and we're going to put the radiator facing this way. So we're going to have the coolant passages going that way. And then the fan will still be pulling backwards, which will go with kind of the airflow of the cart itself, and it should work. Okay. Yeah, it's good. All right, so we got the radiator tacked in, and we have the airbox just kind of mocked up, and it's really tight, but it should work. If you see the flex right here, it only goes away, so it should be perfect. Should have no problems. So yeah, with the radiator welded up, fix the airbox.
We have the radiator all mounted up. It's really solid. I love how it's going to look with the fan in the back. You can see it whirling around and stuff. But we kind of give it like a pre-runner truck look. So what we did is we just did 2 upper mounts and 2 lower mounts, and we added a little tab for the fill cap plus the upper hose mount. So Jason's hard at work on the airbox. So once he has that mounted in with its support bracket, we'll be able to run the radiator hoses and really just get one step closer to firing this thing up.
So to finish the airbox mount, it's pretty simple, but it works really well. So now we're going to route our radiator hose. So we have this one up top that's going to run to the top of the engine right here. And then we have the lower one, which we'll probably have to route either over the top and around or kind of around our back hoop. But we just kind of need to flex it and make sure everything's going to work, and then we'll figure out what's the best solution for that. Not bad. Sick.
Gorgeous.
There. Yeah.
And
that gives us a ton of flex, like in every direction. That'll be enough. Yeah. Sweet.
Well, I would love to fire this thing up in this video, but there's still, we're only halfway there. If any of y'all have built a shifter cart before, you know, half the battle is basically just getting all the systems to, like, you know, run inside your frame. It's basically like a full engine swap on like a car or something. So basically we have all the like major components there. So that means we're pretty much 50% to hearing this thing run in here. In this video we remade the entire exhaust from the header down with our DG muffler. We mounted the fuel tank, we mounted the battery, we basically got the radiator in and all that stuff, the air box. In the next video you'll hear this thing running and it's going to be awesome, so stay tuned for that. Thank you to our sponsors, DG Performance Exhaust and Go Power Sports, as well as Optrel and Pro Tools. Be sure to check them out. Any of the parts you saw were used in the description. And also, I'd like to tell you I'm filming this on Saturday. I'm gonna post a video on Sunday. We were pretty busy recently. Joe actually just graduated college at Texas Tech. He got his bachelor's in architecture. He's gonna stay on and do a master's program there, so he's still got 2 more years of school. But we've been busy with all the graduation stuff. We just wrapped up finals. But now we're back, it's winter break. Every video from now on is going to be basically just right on time. We're kind of done with stockpiling, honestly. I think it kind of hurt our quality, and I think we can make it work with driving home. Maybe we'll make 2 or 3 videos in advance, but basically just what that means is keep giving us suggestions, because we're basically making our videos live now. So continue to just keep an eye out for our every Sunday uploads. We're gonna try to stick to that as best we can, school permitting. But thank you guys for watching. See you next time.